The phone buzzed once. An unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Almost. Mr. Carter. My last name rolled out like a question, but I knew it wasn't. The voice was too certain. This is Agent Monroe. We need to speak with your wife. It's urgent. There was no tremble in my hand when I set the phone down. No flicker in my chest. Just a faint exhale, like a draft slipping through a cracked window. I looked over at her, in my house, on my couch. Her legs casually resting across his lap. Her laughter snapped through the air, sharp, careless, as she stroked the hair of the man I'd never met, the man she invited in before my side of the bed even cooled. No divorce papers needed, she had smiled, her voice light, cruel. Just leave. And I had, quietly, effortlessly. But the game had never been about the leaving. It was about who would call her the next morning, and what they would say. 17 years. It's a strange thing how a life can calcify into a routine, how love can be dissected by slow neglect until all that's left is paperwork and distant eyes. I'd noticed the way her phone would light up at midnight, the text messages she angled away from me, the scent of foreign cologne clinging to her skin like a stain she stopped bothering to wash away. I didn't ask, I didn't beg. People like her expect a fight, expect rage, expect you to fall apart so they can label you the villain. But I didn't fall apart. I watched. She paraded him in front of me, moved him like I died yesterday. And when she told me to leave, she thought it was her victory. I gave her the house. I gave her silence. I gave her freedom. She mistook it for surrender. Funny thing though, you don't truly know someone until you watch what they do when they think you're gone. I didn't sleep the first night, not out of grief, out of precision. I remembered conversations. I retraced accounts. I accessed files I'd compartmentalized long ago. You see, she never cared to ask what I really did for a living. Consulting, I'd told her. Vague, convenient, forgettable. 17 years, and she never asked what I consulted on, or for whom. There's a certain beauty in being overlooked. I started with her phone, public records, property deeds under borrowed names. The man, Michael, had no idea he'd walked into a house wired long before he ever crossed the threshold. Security footage, phone logs, financial transfers. I watched them, eating at my table, sleeping in my bed, planning trips with money she didn't realize I could trace in under 30 seconds. The FBI had been circling him for months. Fraud, wire transfers, a network I once helped dismantle for other clients in other cities. The moment his name crossed my screen, I didn't feel betrayal. I felt symmetry. All I had to do was align the pieces. The knock on her door was soft, deliberate. She opened it in her robe, expecting me, but I wasn't the one standing there. 2 agents, badges, cold, official voices. Mrs. Carter, we need to ask you a few questions about Michael Rowe. Is he here? I watched from across the street, expressionless. She called me 17 minutes later. I let it ring, 4 times. When I answered, her voice was breathless, trembling at the edges. Why? Why are they asking about him? They said you. I didn't respond. Not yet. They said you've been helping them? Investigating? Silence from me. Long enough to hollow her out. You knew, she whispered, realization curdling in her throat. You knew the entire time. You set this up. I closed my eyes. Let the weight of it settle. Then finally I said, I never needed divorce papers. The line went dead. The next morning, I left a package on the porch. No knock, no note. Inside, copies of the financial records, photos of her and Michael, a simple sheet with 3 words typed in the center. I watched everything. Her voicemails piled up. The first, indignant. The second, pleading. The third, a strangled mix of apology and desperation. But I didn't answer. There's a particular flavor of revenge that doesn't require shouting. It's the kind that seeps into someone's bones, into the quiet hours of the night when they realize they were nothing more than a variable in someone else's calculation. She thought she owned the final move. She never realized she was the opening play. People always imagine betrayal feels like a blade to the gut. It doesn't. It feels like dust collecting on shelves, like a room slowly running out of air, like a door quietly clicking shut behind you. I never wanted her to beg. I never wanted her to suffer. I only wanted her to see, to understand that I was never the man she thought she could discard. She'll live in that house, alone now, Michael gone, the walls still wired, the air still thick with the ghost of my presence. I didn't burn it down, I left it standing, a monument to her miscalculation. Some stories don't end with flames, some end with silence. And silence, I've learned, is where the sharpest edges live.